to my channel. This is my second video. Somehow I already have subscribers and views, which is crazy. I didn't think that would happen at all. So thank you to everyone who's giving me that chance. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to be a part of this. So let's get started. I am so excited today to talk about 2 readathons that I'm going to be doing, one to finish up March and then the O.W.L.s, of course, in April. I am going to be participating in the 24 before 4 Monday readathon weekend. I have a few books I want to finish up in March and some I want to start and not necessarily be worried about if I finish them, but one of my biggest reads right now is Atlas Shrugged by Anne Ryan. It is taking me forever. I started reading it in January. I've been slowly working my way through it, so I'm hoping that this readathon will help me finish it by the end of March. That's really my goal. There's not a lot of time left, but I only have about 200 pages. That being said, 200 pages in this book can take quite a while. I do, however, like the story so far. It's just so incredibly dense. There is just so much to it. This is one of the books that I want to finish in March. I have 2 other books that I'm starting. I am starting The Fellowship of the Ring, which I'm so excited for. This is a reread. I bought them on a spending spree. I went to go buy my friend one book, and I ended up getting a whole set of The Lord of the Rings because I didn't have a full set, and that was my reasoning. Not a very good reason. Maybe a good reason, but it definitely was a spending spree. I'm not going to worry about finishing it in March. I'm probably going to put it off to the side once the O.W.L.s start and then pick it back up in May and just kind of work my way through it. I don't want to rush it. I want to enjoy it. The other book I'm reading in March is Favored by Fortune by Colleen King Eating. This was written by a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend's mom. I can't really remember exactly. They had just finished it, told me it was a quick read, wanted to help their friend by passing it along, so I'm going to give it a go. But again, I'm not worried about finishing this one in March. I'm going to just start it and then kind of table it until the O.W.L.s are over. Which means we can get into my O.W.L. TBR. I am so excited for this. Okay, so I chose Mazoologist as my career. I don't know if any of you guys played the phone Harry Potter game. It's before Harry is actually in that year, but you go through each year, you learn spells, you're looking for your brother. I played that game, and I love the magical creatures in that game. So I don't think otherwise I probably would have chosen this career, but I think having the creatures in that game has been so fun, having pets, getting to know different creatures, getting to learn about them, got me really excited about it. And so I did choose that as a career. So there are 4 prompts for that, and I'll go through the books. I also want to do a lot of the certification. I'm just going to see where I kind of end up with those. So my focus is on Mazoology. So one of the books I have to read for Mazoologist is a book that is under 150 pages. Because I teach 2nd grade and I've taught 5th grade, I do have quite a few books that are under 150 pages. So it wasn't hard to find a book. It was just that I felt like some of the books weren't necessarily the best for this kind of readathon. I wanted to challenge myself, and a lot of these didn't feel like a challenge. And this one doesn't necessarily either, but was one of the ones that was next on my list. So for potions, I have Genies Don't Ride Bikes, the Bailey School Kids. I don't know if you guys read these as kids, but this is like a nostalgia fix for me. This is only 69, 70 pages. I can read it easily in one sitting. So this is going to be my potions read. Next I have Herbology, and for that I read a book that starts with M. So this is a series that I want to reread. It's been a while. I think I read it back in middle school. It's by one of my favorite authors, Garth Nix, who wrote Sabriel, which is what I named my channel after. But this is a different series. It's a little bit lower grade, more elementary. That is Mr. Monday. This one comes with 7 books. There's one for each day of the week. I don't remember much about it. A kid gets transported to a different world and is kind of like battling these different lords and ladies. Let me read the description. Arthur is not supposed to be a hero. He is in fact supposed to die an early death, but then his life is saved by a key shaped like the minute hands on a clock. Arthur is safe, but his world is not. Along with the key comes a plague brought by bizarre creatures from another realm. A stranger named Mr. Monday, his avenging messengers with bloodstained wings and an army of dog-faced fetchers will stop at nothing to get the key back, even if it means destroying Arthur and everything around him. So I do remember enjoying this. I don't remember loving it. I'm excited to kind of reread it because I don't think I made it through all 7 books in the series, and it is a pretty light series, so I should be able to get through those books relatively well. Thought I'd start it for now. After that comes Charms, and for Charms you need a book with a white cover. So I chose Warcross by Marie Lu. She wrote a series, I can't remember what the series is called, but the books are like Prodigy, Legend, Champion, and they're one of my favorite dystopian future kind of books. So I'm excited to read this. I don't really know much about it, but I'm more going on just her as an author. I haven't read anything else by her. And it also is a little bit bigger than the other 2 books that I've chosen so far, which makes me feel a little bit better. I'm going to focus on getting through some of my smaller books for this, I think, because I do want to get a lot of those certifications. But this one kind of bulks it up a little bit. And lastly, for the Mazoologist career, I need Care of Magical Creatures, which the prompt says I should read a book that has a beak on the cover. So I've had this book on my TBR for a little bit, and I just haven't gotten around to, and that is Wink Poppy Midnight. This does have an owl right here, which obviously has a beak on it. It's pretty small, but it was one of the books that I wanted to get to. So again, I don't know much about this book. It says, every story needs a hero, every story needs a villain, every story needs a secret. 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 summer, 1 bad thing. What really happened? So there isn't much even in the description of the book, and to be honest, I haven't really looked to see if other people have read this and what they think, because I usually do that after I read. I kind of want to get my own take and then compare my reaction to other people's reaction and see if we found the same things, like the same thing. So I am excited to read this. Don't know anything about it, but again, I really like the cover, so I thought I'd pick it up. Since I'm getting my Mazoologist, have I been saying that the same each time? I hope so. Since I've been getting my Mazoologist career, I can go straight into my dragon training, and all I need to add is a book that involve dragon, and so of course I chose How to Train Your Dragon. I've seen these movies, loved these movies, but I've never actually read the book. They're pretty small, so it should be another quick read, but I think also this is one that I have in my library for my students that they enjoy that I haven't had a chance to read yet. Another certificate I'd love to have is the Animagus, which you need 3 owls for. I've already technically done one of them. I'm going to pick books that go along with the ones I've already done, like potions, and if I get to them, I get to them. If I don't, then I already have some of these covered. The first prompt for arithmancy is that I have to read something outside of my usual genre. My usual genre is fantasy, and so for this I chose more of a contemporary fiction. I don't know much about this, but I've had it on my shelf for a while. I just haven't been quite excited to pick it up, but I think I will enjoy it once I get started. So that book is Remember Me by Treza Azopardi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this book is a story told kind of backwards from what I understand. You start out with a homeless woman whose stuff was taken from her and kind of work back through her life to see why those things were important, because from what I understand, the things that were taken were a bunch of things that may not seem important, and it seems like something I may enjoy once I get into, but it's not something I've been excited to like pick up off my shelf. It keeps getting pushed to the back because there are other things I've been excited about. So I figured it'd be a good time to read it. Again, it's another small one, so I figure if it's not something I end up being into, I still will be able to finish it because it's less than 300 pages. I also have a Transfiguration, which is about shape-shifting or a transformation, and this one I am so excited about. I found this book just randomly in a bookstore, and the description alone just sounded hilarious. So I'm going to read you the description, but first, that book is called Morty. So it's a book about a cat, and let me read you the description for this. The war with no name has begun with the human extinction as its goal. The instigator of this war is the colony, a race of intelligent ants, who for thousands of years have been silently building an army that will forever eradicate the destructive, oppressive humans. Under the colony's watchful eye, this utopia will be free of humans' violence, exploitation, and superstition. As a final step in the war effort, the colony uses its strange technology to transform the surface animals into high-functioning, two-legged beings who will rise up and kill their masters. Former house cat turned war hero. That's my transformation. Mort is famous for taking on the most dangerous missions and finding the dreaded human bioweapon, MSHA. But the true motivation behind his recklessness is his ongoing search for his pre-transformation friend, a dog named Sheba. I don't even know what to say about this, but I'm so excited to read it. The idea of a house cat transforming into a human killing machine and looking for his friend dog. Have you ever watched the Rick and Morty episode with Snowball? That's what I'm picturing in my mind. I'm so excited to see if this book is even close to what I'm envisioning. So that is my transformation. I also would be reading a potions book for this. I've already done one, but if I have time to do another one, I'm going to be doing Who is J.K. Rowling? This little book is a mini biography for kids. I have a lot of these and my kids tend to like them. I think I have Who is Rosa Parks, Who is Neil Armstrong, Who is Martin Luther King Jr. So it's just a good little biography. I don't plan on rereading Harry Potter because I am listening to a podcast actually where they kind of go chapter by chapter. So I didn't want to reread those, and instead I figured I could pay tribute. I also really like the idea of mermaid linguist. So if I get to that, that's another herbology. I've already done one, so technically I would just have that under my belt. But if I have time, I would read another book that starts with M, and I chose Making Bombs for Hitler. I haven't read this one yet, but it's another one that my 5th graders liked. It's about a girl who is living in Nazi Germany. She's Yugoslavian, and at first she thinks she's safe because she's not Jewish, and then her parents get taken away from her. She gets separated from her sister, and my cat is just jumping around, sorry. And so she is put into a factory where she helps make bombs for Hitler. And she's trying to decide if it's worth sabotaging the bombs. She's trying to find a way out so she can find her sister and see if her sister is alive. And so it's just kind of her way of working through what's happening around her and how she can make a difference. I think it's a good book. I'm interested to see if this is a good addition for students who want to learn more about Nazi Germany and what that means. Because some books portray it really well and really do a good job of portraying the intensity, the violence, the destruction without being overwhelming for a 10-year-old. And some books almost are too light or too heavy. So it'll be interesting to see where this one kind of falls on that list. He's got the zoomies. He's just running around. I also, if I have time, want to do the legal defense certificate. And for that, you need History of Magic. And for that prompt, you're reading a book with a witch or a wizard. I pulled Poor Unfortunate Souls. And so this book has Ursula, a sea witch. She's technically a sea witch. I don't know if that's exactly what they were looking for. It's a short enough one that I figured I could fit it in, and I'm excited to get to it and see kind of Ursula's side of the story. And lastly, for that, I would need another Care of Magical Creatures book. So this is another one that I have covered, but if I get to it and I have time to read another one with a beak on the cover, I chose A Tale Dark and Grim. This has crows at the top with their little beakies. And you're following Hansel and Gretel as they run away from their own story into 8 other scary fairy tales. So it's kind of like a dark and twisted, you know, more like the original Grimm, but I'm assuming still in kid format? I don't know. We'll see. But I know it's about Hansel and Gretel and their journey through other fairy tales, and I always love a good fairy tale and a fairy tale retelling. Alright, so let's see if I can get this on camera. Here is my TBR for April and the Owls. I'm also reading The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, one of my all-time favorite books. It's a reread for me, but it's with my book club. We each put in a reread and a new read that we wanted to. So this is a new read for one of my friends, and I'm excited to kind of talk about it with her. We just started, so we just read the first like 250 pages. The thing is, we're not really sure when we're going to have a chance to catch up again. We all live in the same area, but we're, you know, social distancing. So we haven't decided if we want to just meet up online or wait until we get to a point where we can talk again, because all of us are big readers, so we have other things on our list. So this, along with the other two, I'll pick back up later on. Alright, so I'll keep you updated. I'm going to link my Instagram and my Goodreads. If you're interested to see how my reading goes, I'm going to kind of update it throughout the month of April to let you know what books I've finished, how I'm progressing, and whether I finish my O.W.L.s successfully. Let me know down below if you're doing the O.W.L.s, what career you chose, what books you chose. I've been loving watching other people's videos about what they're choosing and how they compare to mine. Let me know what you're reading, because I think it would be interesting. I hope you have a great week. Bye!